It's about finding ways to support kind of like the ecosystem. And when you do that, you don't ever have to worry about you being supported. Like that just comes naturally.
Yes.
If you just are really focused on serving others, like everything else just falls in line. It's been like, and don't get me wrong, it's sometimes a trial of faith. You gotta know, you gotta know that it's gonna work out.
Welcome to a new episode of Real Estate versus Technology. It's 2023. We're in our in-person podcast studio, and we are changing things up a bit. Intros changed, as you can see. Recording studios changed. We have a special guest who we're going to intro here in a second, and it all ties into what's next for real estate. And it's actually a new co-host for What's Next for Real Estate. I can't believe it. And she said, it's a she. She's like, I have a keynote, and let's do a podcast. I said, I love how your mind works. So today we have the one and only. Welcome to a new episode of Real Estate versus Technology, your number one resource to get the inside scoop from top performing real estate professionals. How are they growing their business utilizing technology in today's market? Hear also from top performing coaches that can help and serve you in your real estate business, and also technology providers. Let's go deeper with these technology providers to ask them how they got where they're at today and how maybe their services could better serve your real estate business. A big shout out to Liftoff Agent for sponsoring our podcast. Go ahead and go to liftoffagent.com to learn about their marketing and positioning services to help scale your real estate business. If you haven't already done so, like the episode, subscribe. We want you to comment on YouTube what you learned from the episode and give us a review if you're going to be listening and streaming this podcast. Thank you so much. We appreciate you, and enjoy this week's podcast of Real Estate versus Technology. We have the one and only Brittany, Be the Boss. What's up? Women in Real Estate, co-founder, Black Wealth Creator. She's awesome. And look at that. It just automatically went straight to you because you did the hand gesture. Remember that?
Oh, I forgot. Now I've messed up your camera.
It's good. It's good. I have a solution behind the scenes, and we could just keep rolling. So
Let's go.
So it's on you because you're our special guest today. I know you've been traveling all around the world, and I know this isn't how you sound. She's like, I haven't been drinking water. I'm like, Brittany, what are you doing?
I'm dehydrated, which in turn turned into me catching a cold or whatever, sore throat, whatever. And so, no, I don't normally sound like this, but we're rolling with it. We just get it done.
We roll with the punches. Let's see if I could do the pan. Ooh, can I do the pan? So put your hand up. Go ahead and put your hand up. Wave at it. All right. Now put it down. This is fun. So we have one of those cameras that automatically will like go on.
You really have all the tech.
I try.
You do.
I try. So the new lights I have are over here. Now they're not going to be able to see this behind the camera, but watch this. I'm going to show you something really cool.
You can change the color, can't you?
I can. So this is the thing. I found these pans. So for everyone who's watching or listening, they're flat panel lights and they're 18 by 5. And I thought it was 2 for 169. It's 1 for 169. I'm like, I get it in the mail. I'm like, where's my other light? So I'm like, all right, I have to get another one, right? So I get the other one. I had the box lights. And when we did our event for What's Next for Real Estate, I had the box lights. I brought them up, and Nick was like, oh, no, we're not using those. I'm like, never again am I going to be called out for my shitty technology. So watch this. So you go into this app. So it looks something like that. And then you connect it. So let me just go back and connect. And I'll put the link down below if anyone wants flat panel lights for your studio. It's all about giving. So it'll connect, loading, please wait. And then you can do all things like you can do a green hue. You can do a red hue. Okay. Fancy. And then let's get real fancy with it. And let's like just straight up go like,
oh yeah,
just go pink.
Ooh,
that we're just completely changing. So we could just
vibes.
So the first vibe's going to be, this is going to be pink. Okay. And then we could just change it to whatever vibe we want.
Oh my gosh. I love pink.
You like it?
Yeah.
All right, cool. So let's get into your story. Let's start from the beginning. Like how did you get where you're at today? You have all these different things that you're doing. You're in real estate, one of the best industries to be in. You're serving and empowering women across the country. I have to say thank you so much because you saw me and my crazy personality and ass out there doing my thing with this What's Next. Like, check this out, everyone. And she believed in me and she hit me up and we went live. So thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. But give us your story.
So, okay. I grew up in the DMV area. and been in real estate for forever, but just didn't know exactly what capacity that was going to end up in. And so even from high school, I was interning with title companies. My mom was in real estate. Worked for builders, worked for developers, like the whole nine. Ended up starting a cheerleading company in college. I was 19, started my first company, ran it for about 15 years. Loved it, loved it. But I always wanted to do something in real estate. Like I already knew, like I think I was in high school when I read Rich Dad Poor Dad. Like I've always been kind of like that person. And so ended up jumping into this partnership. First rule of thumb, don't be partners when you both don't know what you're doing. Like that's key right there. But ended up jumping into this partnership, flipping about a bunch of houses, and it did not go well. Is the synopsis of the story. It did not go well. Ended up raising a bunch of money before I knew anything about raising money, right? Because this was like what probably 5 or 6 years ago, and the access to information was so limited. Like the best thing you were gonna get is like Rich Dad Poor Dad University, and that wasn't even giving you most of what you needed. So yeah, I mean, I did not think that I would ever recover from that.
Wow.
But it turned out to be one of the biggest blessings of my life because it gave me the experience and the knowledge and the learning curve to come back and be like, look, these are all the things that I did wrong. Let me help you not do those things wrong.
Wow.
So got my real estate license and started consulting, started building this tribe with women in real estate. Now working on my first development deal in Houston, Texas.
Congrats.
Thank you. And started my first fund so that not only can I make sure I have capitalization for this development deal, but that other women are capitalized. Because that's a huge thing. Like you look in VC waves and like how big of an issue it is for women, especially women of color, to get funding. And then you think about what that looks like on the real estate side, where there are even fewer women. It's huge. So I'm just really, really, really grateful to have taken this journey.
That is so cool. And I was going to say that before you said it, blessing in disguise, because you don't know what you don't know, and then you get in, you learn, and I can resonate with the fact that you learn the hard way, and now you just want to serve. Because you're like, I've done it, I understand, and let me be a soundboard and help people that have no idea what they're doing, and hopefully try to save them with whatever financial loss, hardship, stress, extra gray hair. Who knows?
I just got my first gray hair, so that's exciting. But no, if I can save everybody else, and just accelerate the learning curve so that we can all get further faster together. That's like the best thing you can do, like to leave Earth and know how many people you were able to impact, how many future generations you'll have affected. Like that's huge.
I love that. Yeah, I've been talking more and more as I've been going through my journey about it's not so much the money. Money isn't your legacy. It's how people remember you and what you've done to serve and support and help and to give back. And you're doing so many things to give back and to serve and to support. So God forbid anything happens to you. I'm going to knock on this. It's going to be kind of loud. Should probably not do that. We were talking about off air how I'm going to get some these stands alone are like $500. So this stuff is pricey. And I digress. But yeah, it's so true. It's so true. And I know that, for me, what came up for me, for you, is that you already saw something in me, and it was a blessing because you're like, I see this guy, he's hustling, like, I want to learn more, and you reached out, and then we connected right off the bat, and then it was just like, hey, you want to come out? Like, come out, I got you, this other thing, I'll get you a room or whatever, and it turned out to be amazing, and I really appreciate that because I think people don't go deep enough on social media, and I see you going deeper.
Yes. No, that like ding, like yes, 100%. People don't go deeper on social media, and it's difficult to do. You really have to be committed to, go like reaching out to people and not in an automated text kind of way, like actually reaching out to people. When people follow me, I've started making a real effort to send them a DM, thank them for following me,
Love
and
it.
ask them how I can help them. Where are they at on their real estate journey? What do they need to be connected with to continue their progress?
Love
And most people think it's a bot. So a lot of times I have to go back through and send voice notes and be like, hey, I know you think this is a bot. This is really me. And if you want to talk, put time on my calendar.
I love that.
Yeah, but and you never know. Like, it's just so synergistic. It's about finding ways to support kind of like the ecosystem.
Mm,
And when you do that, you don't ever have to worry about you being supported. Like that
yes.
just comes naturally.
Yes.
If you just are really focused on serving others, like everything else just falls in line.
It
And
does.
it's been like, and don't get me wrong, it's sometimes a trial of faith, You gotta you
So true.
gotta know you gotta know that it's gonna work out. And it's not without its stress.
Yes.
But like I can't tell you, I honestly believe that my career has probably jumped 20 years ahead
Wow.
of where it would have been had I just been focused on me and what I'm doing and getting the bag for myself. When I
Mhm.
started focusing on everybody else, that's when life changed.
Wow, that's absolutely amazing. And I love what you said. And for anyone who's viewing and watching, be sure to like the episode, subscribe, and see what came up for you below that you can take from this episode. Right now, one thing I think that's a good thing to do is DM anyone that follows
Yeah,
you.
yeah,
I love to pick up the phone and be like, "Hey, thanks so much for following. I really appreciate
you're
it. You're
great with that.
amazing." And then just send them a video.
No, and I love how you also incorporate videos just into your everyday like business practices. I think you
Hmm.
use Loom.
Yes.
And that was really impressive when I got your first email and it was a video. Like it just definitely sets you apart. Now, I will say, as a woman, and we were just talking about this. Being on video without makeup, not always my favorite thing to do. Also, don't really enjoy putting on makeup. So am I going to send you a video? Probably not, but I will send you a voice note.
I like that. And so there you go. So whatever flows for you. If it's a
Yeah.
video, do a video. If it's audio, it's audio, or text is text. I think that that's really cool about Instagram. And one thing that just came up from Instagram for me is yesterday I was posting a picture, and now you can put just music on a picture
Yep.
that you post. So they're really making it immersive and interactive.
Yeah.
And I think that there's like having a tool in your toolbox, and that was a text message. And
Yeah.
and the more tools that you have in your toolbox is great, but the more that you use the tools for the specific thing, the more that they could be fruitful for whatever it is that you're trying to do.
Yep. 100%. And you also have to figure out how to leverage. And this is kind of where I'm getting into right now. How do you leverage um yourself, your
Mm,
time, your
mhm,
voice, your
mhm.
energy through social media in a personal way?
Yes.
And so now I've just recently brought on a staff member that is in charge of managing the spheres of our
Mm,
clients. So
interesting.
putting people in the CRM, following up with them by email, following up with them by text, making sure that they're tagged and that there are notes, setting up customized lists in our CRM that say like where we met these people, how often we're supposed to be following up, stuff like
Yes.
that. And then also the revelation I've recently had is our social media profiles, our social media accounts are actually CRMs that we're not
So true.
using as
Yes.
CRMs, right? When I'm DMing people, when I'm reaching out, it's the same as if I was going through my CRM and saying, okay, who haven't I reached out to this week?
Yes.
Who's in my pipeline? So I've started putting people, even if I don't have their direct contact information,
Hmm.
I've started putting them in my CRM to remind me to follow up with people
Love it.
and build relationship. And that's what it's about. It's about all the ways you can build relationship. We have so many opportunities, so many platforms. Um, being in real estate, we hear about like the 33 touches a year.
Yeah.
And what that does not mean is your sphere gets 33 blast emails from you a year. That is not
Yeah.
what that means, right? There, you have to look for opportunities to connect with people, to invite people to things, to invite
Yes.
people out. to not only support other people in your sphere, but to introduce people to each other. Like it's just this whole lifestyle. And it's
Yes.
actually made my life so much more fulfilling
I
too.
love that.
Yeah, it's been pretty amazing.
Well, let's talk about Red Now. I mean, honestly, like I said at the beginning of the episode, I said you're out here because of a speaking engagement.
Hmm.
So you came out a day early. So I said, hey, and you said, hey, why don't we do a podcast? I said, hey, why don't you just stay here?
Yes.
Right. And I was off air. I was saying, Brittany had just started doing an Airbnb out of my house, and we had a guest here. He's here now, and I said, "You have the gym, the office, the Zen room." She's like, "I'll take the Zen room." I'm like, "All right, cool." And so now we can go deeper. We're gonna go to dinner right after this podcast and hang out.
Yes.
Right? It doesn't need just to be about a transaction or business or the podcast. It could be like, "Hey, we're gonna have some tea after this. We're gonna have some good conversations." My wife was a cheerleader, so now that's one more thing that you guys can connect on, or gals can connect on. It's funny how we say you guys. So many people say you guys.
It's natural. I say it all the
So
time.
natural.
Well, actually, I'm Southern, so I usually say y'all.
I like that. Y'all is more, I think,
Neutral.
he, she, yeah, neutral than
Yeah.
the opposite. But anyone who's listening and viewing out there, like, think about that. What could you do? Like, one thing for us at Liftoff, where I was like, how can we go deeper with our clients? Where just send them a gift card for their birthday.
Yeah.
Right, $5-10, coffee on us. Thank you so much for being an amazing customer. And like bake that into your process. So whatever your profit and loss statement is, like put that as a part of your, okay, this is a part of my marketing cost. And instead of all the ads and everything, I feel like it's so outplayed.
Yeah, and it's so impersonal.
Yes.
And I heard this statistics recently that we see like 8,000 advertising messages, and we block majority of that out. So it's about creating those relationships, and it's about being top of mind for your tribe. Like I want people to know, and this is another kind of like, I've been doing a lot of thinking lately. This is another thing I'm like trying to transition to, is like it's not about just connecting with other real estate professionals. It's about creating communities for people who like are interested in the same things that I am.
Yes.
So I'm really interested in aviation. So now I'm launching this like whole networking kind of like meetup platform, whatever.
Okay.
For properties and planes, right? So we get our pilot's licenses, and we learn about planes and aviation and private jets, and so it's something that I'm deeply interested in.
Yeah.
It helps me to meet lots of different people in a demographic that I probably wouldn't normally be meeting people in.
Yeah.
And I learn and they learn, and we have something in common, and we get to exchange information and thoughts and like really build community.
I love that.
And that's what it's about.
I love that. And I feel like it reminds me of going back to like high school. And in high school, it was simple. You would just knock on your friend's door. You would go, whatever. Let's go to the creek. Let's go
ride bikes.
Let's ride bikes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And now it's so rigid, 9 to 5, and you do things this certain way.
Yep.
And it's just like, can we just be free and just enjoy and have fun?
Yeah. Like we were just talking about that too. Like you only have one life.
Yes.
Like enjoy it. I think that we've gotten to this like whole work-life balance thing, and I don't know if that really exists. Like if you are aligned with your life's mission, your core values, you kind of know what you're doing, why you're doing it.
Yeah.
You can incorporate that into just how you live, right? And then you don't have to worry about work-life balance, because everything is just your life, and your life is fulfilled because you are operating in your highest capacity, right? So like
I love that.
I'm just in this now, caveat, I'm not married and I don't have kids.
Okay.
So my life is a little different. So I will say.
And you're maximizing that too, which is awesome.
Oh yeah. Oh, I'm enjoying every minute, because I don't think it's gonna be like that forever. But I have a plan for when it changes.
Okay.
The plan is full-time nanny, full-time tutor. I used to teach in public schools, not a fan. So I actually I'm cool with, when I got to go somewhere or my husband has to go somewhere, the family goes.
I love it.
So that's the idea.
I love it.
We'll see if it actually happens.
You never know. Like for me, like I never really had a plan to like get married, have kids, all that type of stuff. And speaking of real estate versus technology, on the technology side is how I met my wife off Instagram. And she said, this is where I'm at. And she gave me an ultimatum. She's like, I want to get married. I want kids. And you're too young for me. I'm like, what? So she friend zoned me real quick. Yeah. She friend zoned me real quick. And then I was like, all right, I'm up for the challenge, so on and so forth. And then like 3 months after we're together, and she taught for 16 years. She was a teacher. Next, pregnant. And so my daughter's 4 now, and I moved her out of state. And so my daughter Jordan goes to private school. And then we had a nanny, which was her mom, who already lived here. So we went down similar road that you're thinking of.
Yeah. No, because it's okay, totally off like on my Brittany tangent. But
let's go.
There's just as our society progresses, I see less community like raising of children and more nuclear family raising of children. And that is a lot of stress and a lot of pressure and very difficult for just 2 people to do.
Yeah.
Kids take a lot. So my cheerleading company, I've literally raised other people's children for the last 15 years.
Wow.
So like I get it. And I think that is also why we see such a big increase in mental illness, because it is not made for us to do alone.
Yeah.
It's made for you to have family and community around you that supports you.
True.
And it just ties into everything else I'm saying. Like, it's all about your community. It's all about creating your tribe.
I love that. And I love the saying of your vibe creates your tribe.
Yes. And collaboration over competition.
Ooh, it's funny you say that. I was listening to a podcast, and Mr. Beast was being interviewed, one by Joe Rogan and then another by Logan Paul. And he said, the way that YouTubers fuck up, excuse my language, anyone that doesn't want to hear that, is the fact that they don't collaborate. So they'll get to a certain point and they hit like this plateau or this wall, and they have this mentality, and you see it in the real estate industry. So there's probably a lot of listeners that are in the real estate industry, and they feel like, oh, I don't want anyone to know what I'm doing, and they try to like hold it for themselves, and there's a secret game. And so what he said is Mr. B said, when I first got started, we would be on this chat messenger. And there's 5 of us on this messenger, and we would collaborate. So instead of one person effing up and then learning and then effing up and taking 5 years, it could take 1 year by 5 people messing up and collaborating and saying, this is what I learned, this is what I learned, this is what I learned.
Absolutely.
And then getting quicker success.
Absolutely. And that's translatable to everything that we do.
Yes.
Like, why would you do it by yourself? Like, I don't think there's any project, any business, anything that I do by myself.
I love that.
It doesn't make sense. I'm only one person.
Yes.
And I don't want to like work myself into an early grave. So let's work together. Let's learn together. And when you have an end goal of serving other people, it's really easy to want to collaborate with people. Because then it's not about like, oh, let me hoard everything for me. It's about how can we all get there faster.
I love it. I love it. I think it's something that's coming up for me. I just had a meeting with a title rep. My wife's going to BNI, and shout out to BNI. Anyone who's in the BNI meetings, not really so much for me, but it's definitely a great place to network and grow your business. And so she connected me with a title rep, and it was great. Lindsay, we went back and forth, and I see this a lot with a lot of title companies, is that they after 2008, the downturn in the market, they're trying to add value any way they can. So internally, they have marketing and they do branding and they do all these things, social media help, and that's all great. Well, what about collaboration with a company like Liftoff or a company like it that could help them so they don't have to go off of what their core business model is, which is title and escrow, and focus on doing that, and then just having a company that helps them? And so I was talking to Lindsay, and she's like, I'm only one person, and I can only do so much, and I'm not anyone's personal assistant or marketing personal assistant. And so it caused a little bit of clash where it was just like we couldn't collaborate the same because she had higher ups and they've already built their model, so they can only do so much. And I'm like, hey, I don't really care so much if Liftoff built a brand or not. Like, our core thing is the website, the marketing and positioning with the lead pages, and tying in the social and having that as their hub. So I was like, I don't care either way. But I feel like with our industry, there could be a lot more collaboration because there's so many people. It's like, what are you trying to do? Like, make a bunch of money or collectively help this industry move forward?
Right. And collectively help people.
Yes.
Right. Like, well, at the end of the day, mortgage professionals, title companies, realtors, we're all supposed to be in it to help people for me, it's to help people create generational wealth,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Through real estate. If that's your focus, like, what are we talking about? What's the question? Like,
exactly.
There shouldn't be a question. There
No.
shouldn't be a question.
Mm-mm.
But I'm seeing a lot of the same thing, like more mortgage professionals, more title companies trying to add more value, but they are so antiquated
Yeah.
oftentimes. They are just now kind of like dipping their toe into marketing and
Mm-hmm.
media and social and community building, but they're really behind the curve.
There, yeah. I mean, speaking of behind the curve, so my wife and I have two investment properties on the market. It's in a 55 and older retirement community center. And so they don't want subleasing. So we're like, hey, well, what if we just do Airbnb or VRBO? And so we're in business with my father-in-law. So he goes into the office to talk to them to find out what's going on. And they said, no, 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 we're not going to do any of that. What if they're over 55? Everything is, we go by the law, go by everything. Airbnb does all the background checks, everything checks out, should be fine. No, we can't do that. And it's just like you're not getting additional exposure for your park and for the amenities for people to see and potentially want to buy a place. And it's like it's a way for them to test drive the car before they buy the car.
100%.
You know what I'm saying? And you
Yep.
see that all over the place in real estate. And so it's like anyone who's listening, like if we collectively can come together and be like, look, and it reminds me of like the Wild Wild West, or even what you're doing to empower women of color. There was this I'm reading ET's book right now, and I was literally just in a group chat or not group chat, but a message chat with
Which one?
ET. Own You. He just came out with a book. You haven't seen it? It just came out. It's called Own You. And so I basically went ahead and I just said, I just did my little like emoji, like yes, and then like I tagged him. And he's like, "Oh, thanks for sharing the book." And then he sent me like a personal message, and then I sent him a personal message back, and I said, "Hey, ET, like my wife, she taught for a long time, and so on and so forth."
Oh, I'm about to download that.
It's dope. It's dope.
That's going to be plain reading right there.
Yeah, 7 hours, and he was a stubborn man, but he learned a lot from it. And so it was cool going back and forth with him on that. And he was talking about all of the roadblocks that we had to get because the mental mindset was like, and we were technically programmed, right, to be segregated and to feel a certain way and to be a certain way.
Yeah.
And we're still seeing that in so many different segments, whether it's adapting to social media or because of the color thing or because of, it's always been men, not women. It's like, hello, like, let's move forward.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's that. I mean, even today, being in the rental car shop, there is this man who did not get his way. And immediately, he just went from 0 to 60 and really like completely judged this woman solely just like she didn't do anything wrong. She was just like following the rules of the rental car place. And immediately it was because of her color. And I was like, and there that is. Like, when are we gonna get past that? Like, people are people. People are people. And we all have like different things that we're working through and programming and like all of those things. But like, do better. Just do better. Like,
come on. Yeah, exactly. And I think that we have some time to go and some things to have happen. And at the end of the day, that just solidifies your movement and why you're doing what you're doing and shows you that there's still work to be done. And that's just a positive reinforcement of like, hey, that's not okay. Like, why?
No,
like,
completely. And I think it's so interesting because I get two different reactions. Like for me, my personal mission is to eliminate the wealth gap. Right.
Love it.
And so I get two different reactions. I get love it from people who have a mindset of abundance,
of course,
and understand that nobody has to lose for other people to win. Right. And then I get, oh, that's interesting. Like that kind of reaction. And that comes from people who are like, well, you're taking things away from me to give them to other people. And that's not case.
Not the case.
That's not the case. So it took me a long time to even step into being able to like be comfortable with being like, yeah, this is what I'm here to do. This is what I'm meant to do, because of the reaction that I was afraid that I was going to get from other people. Wow. So but now we're here. We're here now.
Yeah. I love that. And so whoever's viewing or watching right now would love for you to invite you to come to the conversation. Comment below. What are some of your thoughts about the segregation, some of the subject matters that we are talking about? Because I think it is very prevalent, and we have to start the conversation somewhere, not just with you and I and people listening and just maybe thinking about it, but actually saying, okay, I thought about it. Here's my opinion. Here's my thoughts, because then we can move forward and start a conversation, build community.
Yes.
And I also want to say thanks to our sponsor, Liftoff Agent, for coming in clutch with the money to be able to buy all the technology we have here. So thanks to our clients for that. So no, that's amazing. And if anyone who's watching me looking at my phone, we have dinner reservations. So I'm making sure we're on top of a time as we're keeping this more of a flow and changing it up a bit. So I like to be transparent, because who knows, maybe someone wants to start a podcast and it doesn't need to be fancy. We're on Zoom, and just having fun with it.
No, I love your setup, because this is my project going into 2023.
Let's go.
And so it's been really cool to see like how you created this space and the design of it. It's like, I love it. And I'm so glad that we have pink lights.
I appreciate you. It was interesting. Our VP, Dan Gandy, before COVID said, hey, let's do a podcast, because you could, build the know, like, and trust. There's no selling of anything. You're just connecting with individuals.
Yeah.
And I've seen a lot of audio podcasts. You might be just listening to audio, but then we started with video first. I said, hey, let's do a video podcast. Let's put it on YouTube. Let's start with that. And then now 2.5 years, 180 plus episodes. And we're like, right now we're in the end, or no, we're mid of November, and we're booked out all the way until February, which has been a huge blessing. Thank you so much. And then I was like, this year, I want to say 4 or 5 months ago, I ended up getting the neon sign. Mike Sherrard, shout out, he got one. Now Brittany's gonna get one. And then I was like, I got to do something in person. And literally, we're just in a room in my house, right? Like, it's nothing crazy. It's just a decent sized room. And I got that side for the Zoom podcast, strategy meetings, and normal meetings that I have, and this side just maximizing the space. So
it's so funny, because I was literally outside in the car talking to a client in Texas, a partner client, whatever.
Love it.
And he was talking about how he's starting to build out the garages on all his short-term rentals to be content creation studios.
Let's go.
And putting it on Peerspace, and then being able to charge double on Airbnb. Right?
I like that.
Love it. Love it. And I'm like, oh yeah, as soon as I make this move, that's what I'm doing.
I'm telling you what, things are going to shift so quick. There's going to be more people doing podcasts and head talk and creative content on social. Yeah. And then someone hit me up from the Bay Area and said, hey, if you need a podcast studio or what have you, like, we got you. And it was interesting, because I just was in California multiple times, and went to an event, Let's Fucking Go, LGA. It was Arjun Mortgage, a friend of mine in San Francisco, had Ryan Serhant come out. So it was just with Ryan Serhant.
He was a sponsor at the What's Next for Real Estate, right?
Arjun was last year. Yeah, last year he sponsored. This year he was going to come, but couldn't make it. Neil Holmes, his brother, shout out to Neil. He's crushing it on Instagram with Reels. If you don't know who he is, check him out. And so I went out there a couple times, and then next thing I got this DM, and it's just like, do they know I have a podcast? And do they know I go to California? And do they know that I might want to film a podcast and be in California? Because it was like in Oakland. And I got Kenny Fast and so many different people, and that's where we're founded. So I'm like, maybe I do go out there, go see my grandma, and then go do some podcasting and have some fun with it. So.
Yeah, no, it's definitely, and I love the openness of it. Like, anybody can pick up a mic, and make a podcast.
Yeah,
and it's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be like this, right? Like, this is that, right? But but everybody can have a voice, and I really love that.
Yeah, I do too. And I think that's the biggest thing is just start and put your thoughts out there, and whatever it is, and you can find your niche, and the riches are in the niches, and I found like we just started our Airbnb here, and within 72 hours, we had like 4 people already booked, and, not saying that this is available because it's a little specific to real estate versus tech, but, we had amenities and that helped. People love the fire pit or the pool or the hot tub or the gym and the Zen room. And then it was just like, oh my God, like, it's more of an experience. And I feel like people want to have more experiences.
Oh yeah.
Than anything these days.
Experience and connectivity.
Yeah.
Like, people want to connect with other people, and they want to have unique experiences. 100%.
I love that. And that's why I challenge anyone in the real estate community when it comes to a technology forefront to think about how are they using technology to create that experience and doing something outside of the box where I've been telling agents, it's like, okay, you're going to go to a formal listing presentation. You're going to go on an inspection report, like whatever, to go see your inspector for a home that you have under contract, whatever it is. Like when you're going in the coffee shop or you go to the bagel shop, just record yourself, have fun doing what you're already doing.
Everything is content.
Yeah. And then do a poll.
Yeah.
Should I interview the owner of this bagel shop or coffee shop? Yes or no?
Yeah. I love that.
Go to your appointment. You're coming back. You have 10, 15, maybe 20 people say yes. You go and say, hey, is the owner here? I just did a poll and look, there's 15 people that say I should do an interview of your location. Are you okay with that? Oh, what do you do? Oh, I'm a real estate agent. Oh, I want to sell my house.
Connectivity.
Just because you're wanting to serve.
Yeah, that 100%.
You know?
It's everything. It's
I love
everything.
that. So I want to be respectful for the viewers and listeners that might want to go a little deeper with you. So tell us, like, what is the vision, the mission? I know you love to serve and give back, and you have these amazing messages you want to put out there. What do you see when you say you're going to close a wealth gap? What does that look like in a perfect world when you start to see like it actually coming into fruition?
So I've been doing a lot of research.
Okay.
And there are several ways that theoretically we could close the wealth gap.
Okay.
None of them are really realistic, but so basically, if every person who was the descendant of an enslaved American received 33% return on their active savings, that could close the wealth gap in 30 years.
Wow.
Or if every person was given $250,000, that would close the wealth gap. Those things logistically, like how we do them, how we figure it out, people being upset about them, like, is that going to happen? Highly unlikely.
Yeah.
So what can we do is the question.
I like that.
For me, it was focused on like the things that create wealth long term and then protecting that wealth as it gets passed on to future generations.
Okay.
What a lot of people don't realize is the wealth gap comes from a lot of stuff, right? It comes from higher education, more student loans. If you are a Black woman in today's workforce, you are paid across, just speaking generically, 37% less
interesting
than a white man. So that's a problem. You've also taken on more student loans. That's a problem. You now your debt to income ratio is making you pay a higher interest rate. So even if you do get into real estate, you're paying more. That's a problem. Like, there are so many things that exacerbate the wealth gap. So back to solutions.
Yes, yeah.
So I looked at what I could do. Where was I passionate? And real estate has always been a passion for me. And it is one of the ways that people have passed wealth generationally. Our tax codes are written in favor of owning real estate. There are so many systems that work really well with owning real estate. So I was like, okay, well, that's going to be my lane. And that's going to be my lane, but I'm going to support a lot of other lanes and people in other lanes.
Yeah.
Healthcare, education, policy reform.
Yeah.
Those aren't my things, but I will support them getting done because it all works together, right? So for me, it's about helping people get into homes, build equity, make solid decisions about where they're going to continue to push their energy.
Got it.
Buy rental properties. If they choose to build and turn those builds into rentals or make those builds into affordable homes for other people, love that, support that.
Wow.
We'll do that. And then so actually tomorrow my talk is on going from a renter in an apartment complex to a owner of an apartment complex. Because we start talking about syndication and we talk about pulling wealth. So the other day, again, I've been doing a lot of research. I was looking at the spending power of Black Americans, and I believe it's at like $1.2 trillion.
Wow.
bigger than a lot of countries. And so, pulling resources to improve communities that have been historically disenfranchised.
Yeah.
Redlining, that's a huge, that it was a systematic effort by government to destroy communities of color.
Yeah.
Right. Like these things really happen, well documented. And so, and like fixing those things, investing in communities, understanding the legacy that those policies have had, and really combating that by creating wealth through real estate and understanding all the options, all of the opportunities, not only to help ourselves as individuals and help our families, but helping our communities, and doing that specifically by empowering women, because women tend to be more collectively minded. We tend to be nurturers. We tend to watch out for the community. Yep. It all lines up for me. I know I went on like this very roundabout tangent, but
I love it.
It all lines up. It all makes sense.
Yeah. That's amazing. So I love how you said what you said in regards to like, it starts off with, it sounds like, doing the research and understanding the research. As soon as you get the research in and you really understand what it looks like as far as from the standpoint of logistically looking at the details and understanding the details, logistics, the numbers, what that looks like. And then from there, going deeper and saying, okay, like this is what's being spent. And then this is what needs to happen from these different drivers, starting and stemming from education, and then showing them the facts, the data. This is what's out there. It's very well documented. The things that have happened has been very well organized by the power at B. And the tangent, she went on a tangent for a reason, because she's very passionate about what she's doing. And you could feel that. You could feel that. So this is what we're going to do. I'm going back and forth on camera angles. If you want to catch the awesome camera work here on Real Estate vs. Tech, as far as on YouTube.com, check it out. But we're going to go ahead, because we have a dinner plans, and we're going to go have some fun and go just enjoy some amazing company. So for the viewers and listeners, as we close out the show, okay, how do they connect with you? What do you want them to take from today's episode that they can apply to their business? And how can they, more importantly, be a part of your movement? So if someone likes what they're hearing and says, I want to be a part of like what I'm doing here with you, Brittany's journey, tell them. So we can go ahead and spread this message.
Best way to contact me is Instagram, at b.theboss, B as in Brittany, .theboss. So b.theboss. And the ways that we can connect and collaborate, like really, I'm open to anything. Like I want to serve, I want to help everybody kind of get to where they want to go, because that's the only way we create more equity in our society. Women in Real Estate is my baby, my number one platform. About half of our supporters are men. We are at about 70,000 supporters, and about half of those are men. Women in Real Estate does not make the impact alone, right? We have a huge tribe of people, men and women. So if you're interested in learning more about like education and connectivity and getting, access to our connections and our resources, because proximity is power, reach out to me about that. Also, I'm cataloging kind of like my journey through development with Build with Brittany. So you can reach out to me about that. And just, and what I would want every person to take away from this conversation is being very clear about what you're here to do. Like, what is the impact that you're going to leave once you're no longer here? And then incorporating that into your life. Like, it's not business and work. It's not work and family. It's not any of that. It's you. It's like, who are you as a person? What have you been sent here to do? How do you do that every single day? So those would be my biggest takeaways. I hope you enjoy the conversation, and I hope you'll connect with me.
Wow. OMG, like a pro. I feel like Brittany has done this multiple times. And I have to say, Brittany, thank you so much for being on an episode of Real Estate vs. Technology. as we're changing it up, doing things a little bit differently, just having cordial conversations, which I think are more powerful and impactful, because sometimes when you do things and they're just too just A, B, C, D, it's just
Yep.
not as real and authentic. So we're going back to reality here. What's up? Back to reality out of the pink hue there. And so thanks again one more time. I appreciate you being a part of the show. I think this is going to be
Thank you so
phenomenal to
much.
share with the audience.
I'm super excited. And I'm so excited for everything that you're creating. Like I'm super proud of you. Like I know the journey is not easy and you're crushing it.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate it. And it's interesting. 10 years later, it's like now I'm starting to see it and feel it. And it's like, is this really happening right now?
Yeah.
So thank you. I appreciate that. And thank you to all our viewers and listeners, as it is our intention for you to take things from our episode to apply to your business to have more massive success. If you haven't already done so, like the episode, subscribe, hit the notification bell, download an episode from the streaming side of things, and share it with someone that you should think that should see it. Yeah, I got that out.
Yeah.
All right. So thanks so much for tuning in. We'll see you on the next one. Thank you for watching Real Estate vs. Technology, this week's brand new episode, and making it to the end, your real one. If you haven't already done so, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, hit the notification bell so you'll be notified for new episodes that come out every single week on Fridays at 3:30 Pacific Standard Time. Also, if you comment on this episode and you like the episode, you'll help this episode get out to more individuals. And if you want to join our Facebook group page, just click a link. It's a Facebook icon on our profile page here on our YouTube channel. Join our group page, network with individuals all across the world, and share what technology you're using to grow your business. The next link is to join our Real Estate vs. Technology brand new IG or Instagram page. If you go on any of our stories, you can see who's going to be on Real Estate vs. Technology before it actually goes live on our YouTube channel. And the last link would be if you want to be on an episode of Real Estate vs. Technology. You pick a date and a time. We'll deep dive into your story and technology you're using to share that with other individuals that view our episodes weekly to inspire, enlighten, show up, and show out for people that love to watch these type of podcasts to have more success in their own business. Thank you so much for your continued support. We appreciate it. We will see you on the next one.